Think about us. All right. Thanks to Dana. And joining me now is Bill Kristol, the editor of the Weekly Standard, and Chris Kafinas, a Democratic strategist. All right. So, Chris, let me start with you. When is enough on this? I mean, Democrats in New Jersey, they have this this committee looking into this. It's got two chairs. They're both Democrats, looking for a smoking gun since October. So far, they have not found one. Regardless of the look and feel of the Christie administration and the damage that could have been done from that, the reality of did he lie or not, there has been no smoking gun. It's kind of starting to feel like a witch hunt, isn't it?
Well, I mean, no, I don't think it's a witch hunt. I mean, here you have a situation where, as we all know, the governor's staff basically orchestrated a bridge closing to punish political targets. So the question becomes not only just in terms of what the governor knew, but how does he run his administration? And I think these investigations are ongoing. There's multiple ones. When they come out with the reports, we'll know exactly, what he knew or what he didn't. But at the end of the day, I think there's a bigger part to this. And regardless of whether the governor knew, the bigger question for me is, how did he not know? How was it possible that he didn't know that his staff was doing this? Because I can tell you, having worked with governors, it is a very closed club in terms of how they work with their staff. And the notion that somehow a deputy chief of staff was out on their own doing this and it never percolated up is probably more damning than the fact that he didn't know.
I mean, look, I hear your point. Bill, is there any way that he didn't know, given the way Chris says it, regardless of whether there ever is that smoking gun email that says, oh, here it is, here's the proof?
Sure, it's possible he didn't know what his staff was doing. That happens in life. Or maybe he didn't know. You know what? We'll find out. That's why we're having investigations. What strikes me is how pathetically desperate the Democrats are. They want to obsess about this issue because they're terrified to talk about what's happening in the country, which is Obamacare is a fiasco. Democratic senators are both running away from the president and are going to lose because they voted for Obamacare and have continued to defend it. Republicans have finally kind of got their act together, I'd say. They're actually pushing some interesting conservative reform ideas. Speaker Boehner, I think, pretty deftly has managed to get the clean debt ceiling through the House, so that's not going to be an issue. The Republicans can't be accused of shutting down the government or threatening.
Even though Boehner said he'd never do any such thing, right? I mean,
you know what? Politics requires you to be flexible, Aaron. And I think he's done it. Look, he did what he had to do. He doesn't have much leverage on this issue. They got it through. The Republicans won't be responsible for a government shutdown or for a default. They're not going to kill themselves on immigration, so we can focus on Obamacare, the Democrats' great achievement.
All right, I'm only interrupting you for a moment. I just want you all to know what's on our screen for our viewers. This is the President, of course, and the First Lady. This is the formal picture at the state dinner. This is a very special and important state dinner for the President of France, Francois Hollande. We haven't seen him yet, but you can see Michelle Obama there. That's the gown she chose to wear. I do not yet know who designed it. I'm sorry. I can tell you there was speculation it might be a French-American designer, Sophie Tialet, but I do not know. So I'm only saying there was speculation. That's what it might be. I will say it is an absolutely beautiful blue color. And it looks like is this going to be the limo with Francois Hollande? It looks like it is. So just because I like the pomp and circumstance, gentlemen, I hope you'll bear with us so our viewers can see the formal greeting of how this happens. And here he is going for the formal greeting with the President and the First Lady. You hear that whirring in the background, everybody? That is the photographs around the world of this. This is the formal picture that they're taking. Now, of course, the big scene here was how he has arrived stag without a date. We will have much more on that in a bit, and much more, of course, on what I will admit everyone does love to talk about, which is the First Lady's attire. So that's coming up in just a couple of moments. But let's just go back to this Christie conversation. Bill, you're trying to defend him here, but I'm just curious. Today the governor sent out another email to his supporters vilifying the New York Times, which to its credit, has in part admitted to some inaccurate reporting, or at least they didn't like the tone of some of the reporting. But why is he still sending out emails in anger about it, given that? Doesn't that show a penchant for vengeance?
I don't know if it's vengeance. He's just criticizing people. Look, I'm not sure. I'm not defending Christie. I'm honestly neutral on the question of what happened and what we're going to find out. And I don't think he's necessarily the front runner for the Republican nomination. I'm just amused at the Democrats' desperate desire to make Christie the main story in America today. When something happened, we don't know what Christie knew or did. We're going to find out, and the Democrats are desperate to keep talking about it.
All right. Well, thanks to both of you. We appreciate it. There'll be a lot more on this conversation, I can promise you, pathetically desperate or not. Still to come, A look inside the private diary of Philip Seymour Hoffman. The actor reportedly